Hello, everybody. Welcome into the PGR Thursday Night Heat Series live from the high banks of Talladega Superspeedway. Joining me in the booth tonight, as always, race control and co-host Matthew Baker. Baker, how you feeling tonight?
Feeling pretty good. Good field out here. Looks like we got 45 trucks out with us tonight. Another good field. Excited for some racing here. No fast period tonight, so you're really going to have to watch what you're doing here early in the race.
Yeah, and we'll get more into your race info here in just a moment as you see the field continuing to grid up, getting just a couple final last-minute things set up on our part, and we will get started here tonight with your starting grid as everybody continues to grid. And all right, on the pole for tonight, well, we were talking about it a little bit. He ran a mighty impressive lap. It's going to be Jason Maines stealing the pole here. Is actually not sure why we're not getting any grid sort of things up here. Hoping that we're not having any troubles. And I'll tell you what, we're going to keep it here, but give me just a minute. We're going to try to fix some of these issues. All right, there we go. Apologize for that. We got it all sorted out. It's going to be Jason Maines on the pole tonight for the Maines boys. To his outside, it'll be NBG's Alex Hill. Those two ran very, very fast laps here tonight. Kevin Freeze in third with Kyler Wynn. To his outside in fourth, Zachary Lima back in fifth. Ken McCall Jr. from McCall Motorsports in sixth. Andrew Navarro in seventh. It's going to be Steve Korsak eighth. John Mullahan in ninth. And Garrett Maines will roll off from that 10th position.
11th, you've got Cody Nagels, Jeff Merkin 12th, Matthew Lee in 13th, all MBG 11th through 13th there. David Sheets 14th, Sean Corbett in 15th, Devin Ray from McCullough Motorsports in 16th, Dylan Jones in 17th, Vondell in 18th, Stamper in 19th, and Dustin Carruthers in 20th.
Ron Morris Jr. will roll off 21st, Jackson Holbrook in 22nd. Good to see him back here tonight. Trevor Osmernoth and Ryan Baste will make up row 12. Sarah Clampert and looks like Jake Hawes, that's a new driver in the field tonight. They will roll off from row 13. Joseph Reardon in 27th. He has last week's winner and one of the most all-time underdog victories that we have seen in the PGR Thursday Night Heat Series. Chris Parkman, he will roll off from the 28th spot. John Ward in 29th, and Richard Elliott rounding out the top 30.
31st, you get Bradley Steffen, Heath Job in 32nd, Brock Westmoreland in 33rd, Logan York 34th, 35th, you've got Michael Triscaro, Jared Miller in 36th, 37th, Christopher McCullough, Mike Davenport in 38th, 39th, John Darnell, Danny Barnes in 40th, and 41st you got Tony Cox, Justin Mills in 42nd, Brandon Broadfoot, and Tucker McClendon rounding out your field. And
next up we'll go into the race info, and I'm going to give everybody a quick heads up now. It looks like SDK seems to be really, really delayed here tonight. So once we do get things up and situated, it should be okay and good to go. But as for the start, definitely going to keep things a little slow. So if you see it lagging, apologies for that. But as we break down the race info, whether we have it up on screen or not, Baker, you talked about it right at the start. We're looking at 100% fuel, 45 laps here tonight. Much different from what we're used to seeing. Less laps, more fuel, not expecting pit stops, but no fast repairs. So these guys are going to have to be extra careful. If you get yourself into trouble, you are not going to be able to just go into the pits and get it all fixed.
Pace car's going to pull down here. Really tight field. First through about 15th on the qualifying. You're going to see the same thing out here as the green flag's going to fly. Jason Maines going to get a good push from Kevin Freeze and Zachary Lima here.
And here we go. Green flag is in the air. We're racing at Talladega. Lap 1 complete at Talladega, and it is going to be the one of Jason Maines leading it. 77 of Alex Hill to his outside. You see Kyler Wynn, Kevin Freeze already doing a lot of pushing, but up top, Steve Corset, Garrett Maines, and Jeff Merck wasted no time getting the third lane going. Kyler's going to split out. It doesn't work. 4 wide down the backstretch.
Navarro's going to help Kyler Wynn. They're going to stay 4 wide here. Steve Corset's clear to the middle. Garrett's also clear. That's going to leave out Merck to the top of 4 wide. He's going to drop all the way to the back and try and get picked up by his own teammate towards the back. Oh, they're going to neck over.
Big wreck early on. Who's going to get through this one? Kevin Freeze got tagged. They're still wrecking. Oh, man, we got mayhem everywhere. These guys' track is blocked up. Everybody's trying to find a way through. Looks like finally the rest of the field's going to be able to maneuver through this. Chaos on lap 3 to get us rolling here tonight. And that probably collected about 4 or 5 of your front runners, plus some more further back. Tony Cox, Brandon Broadfoot, they're able to get back rolling and get going. See the 39 of Tucker McClendon. He's able to get back rolling as well. Let's go back and take a look at exactly where this starts. Towards the front of the field, it actually had caught Baker's eye before it had caught mine. And we saw it right at the front, right around, you see Jason Maines looks like could be the first man to sneak through there on the bottom. Is it just going to be guys really racing tight? You see on the bottom Kevin Freeze. And, oh, him and Ken McCall Jr. looks like are going to make some contact. Let's back that up, take one more view. Do they actually make some contact, or is there a little bit of net code right here? There might have been some slight net code. It looked to me like Ken maybe creeping down the track just a little bit. And, oh, maybe some even slight contact. It was really close. We'll get official word from Baker, but these guys were racing really, really hard. Don't forget what we talked about at the beginning of the broadcast. No fast trailers. This could put an end to a lot of people's night. But here you go. Product of 3 wide racing into 3. There you go. Ken slipping out of line a little bit. Gets down. Like I said, either a little bit of contact or a little bit of net code. Either way, gets down into Kevin Freeze. And then that sends it back up. Kyler Wynn. And now the wreck is on. Everybody just trying to minimize the damage. And boy, this took out a lot of them. Jeff Merck. Streak's going to continue tonight. They all try to get back rolling. Man, this one is a mess to sort out. Let's take a couple more looks at it. Keep an eye on the guys that look like they get the worst of this one here. Andrew Navarro got a pretty big hit. And actually, I'll back that up. Slow it down for you. So we take a watch from TV, follow a little bit further back. Ooh, Zachary Lima, he takes a big hit to the front of that truck as well. You see the 3 pile in with nowhere to go. Kevin Freeze gets tagged. Ryan Bass around. I think everybody else, including, looks like Sierra Clamper down there, was able to sneak through. I think she's okay. But man, oh man, that is going to change the complexity of this race. A lot of big hitters near the front that were taken out. Let's actually ride on board here with Ken McCall Jr. Actually, we'll go with Kyler Wynn, who we saw right in the middle of this wreck. And he has now been on pit road since. Actually, I take that back. We are indeed going to go here to Ken McCall Jr. And it does not take much when you're running this close. And from his view, this is how tight they were running. And here you go. I think he'll be okay, but not so much for the pack behind him. As we go back live up front, it's actually, tell you what, up here in the booth, we're so used to guys having fast pairs. When that wreck first occurred, didn't click in my mind that these guys indeed don't have the fast pairs tonight that we were talking about in the pre-race. And that makes it so much bigger of a deal. Jason Maines and Garrett Maines now being scored as your front 2. Cody Nagels back in 3rd. John Mullahan in 4th. Sean Corbett 5th. Dylan Jones back in 6th. Devin Ray in 7th. Sierra Clamper, this could be a big opportunity night for her. She is being scored in 8th. John Ward back in 9th. And Matt Lee currently rounding out your top 10. Look at the fuel window. A lot of people came down to top off just then, and we know at 100% fuel they can make probably right around 30, maybe 32, really stretching it in terms of laps. So they're still expecting a green flag pit stop from this point. I think this is really going to settle down the race. And Baker, you back? We got a copy?
Yeah.
So what are we taking on that one? I'm thinking there's not too many happy drivers right now.
Yeah, not too many happy drivers, especially with the couple that were not braking coming into the wreck. But yeah, it just looks like an unfortunate case of netcode. Everyone's racing close. Kevin even said it the lap before. He said it's not the last lap. but they still thought they were 4 wide. Kenneth thought they were still 4 wide. He was trying to back out of it, and then got into the rear of Kevin. Chaos ensued.
And, I'll tell you what, Baker, let me know if you agree on this, but I agree with Kevin in the sense of, I know there was netcode involved. I completely agree to that point, but these guys all come out here knowing tonight that there's no faster pairs. You choose to go up there and go 3 wide on the first lap. To a certain degree, you got to kind of feel slightly responsible if you're in that first wreck.
Yeah, I thought it was going to produce a little bit cleaner racing. Obviously, I was wrong. Everyone's just trying to get to the front, get ready for that pit stop, but now you're going to see a lot of people be patient here after this restart.
Certainly will. We see some new faces towards the front. Getting ready to see what all these guys can do once we get the green flag, 1 to go signal. As shout out to everybody that's in the chat here tonight. Looks like Chad Bishop, Logan York, Ashford and Billa, Zayna Thompson, and Checkered Flag Motorsports as well. Hope you guys are all having a good night. Appreciate you being out here. And Jason and Garrett lined up on row 1. You see Cody behind. Cody doesn't have really any teammates in the vicinity right now, so he's got to be a little bit more careful with what moves he makes. But there you see Dylan Jones in the right go, number 11, another one of the Mains Boys drivers up near the front. John Mullahan looking for some of his teammates. He'll have to look back a couple rows. Devin Ray. And then John Ward for Hyper Motorsports. Looks like he's the first guy that'll have a teammate lined up with him. We'll see if those two decide to go 3 wide. And everybody else in the pack, as Baker noted, I think you're going to see him playing it a lot more cautious here. Maybe trying to either slowly work your way to the front or just kind of sit in the back and wait till we get closer to this pit stop. We'll talk more about strategy on that here after we get back rolling green. As the pace truck makes a hard left turn, here comes Jason Maines, Garrett Maines into the Geico restart zone. 5 laps complete, 1 caution, and a lot of trucks already out of this 45-lap event. Green flag is back in the air at Talladega.
Top's formed up a little bit more. Dylan Jones to the back bumper of Cody. That's going to give a good push to Garrett on the top side. Mullahan a little close to Jason, but he doesn't have the help that he needs on the bottom to keep that surge going. You're going to see the top here really roll, even though they only have just 3 trucks up there. You're going to see Lee shuffle to the outside, get in line with Jones there, look for a big push here down the backstretch.
And we do have some of the guys carrying onboard cameras for us here tonight. The first one is going to be Cody Nagels for NBG. Was able to escape that first wreck, and right now finds himself in pretty good position. The lead pusher on that outside line. Looking to see if he can gather a win here tonight. Got the OP championship just yesterday over in the OP Wednesday series, so he's got momentum on his side. We'll see what he can do here tonight. Trevor Osranoff back in 12th. Another one of our guys carrying an onboard camera for us here tonight. One of the KSR drivers. Looking for a couple teammates, currently sitting just behind Sierra Clampert. He's going to make a move up to the top, hop behind a couple of the Hyper Motorsports trucks. We go a little bit further back in the field. We saw Jeff Merck involved in that first wreck, but he does have a driver cam for us here tonight trying to recover. Doesn't look like the truck's too damaged. We saw Kyler involved in that wreck as well. And, I mean, all in all here, Baker, I think with the newer damage model, these guys can survive a little bit of damage as long as it's nothing too terminal.
Yeah, just a couple trucks that took some major damage there with the ARCA braking, but everyone else looked like they escaped pretty much scotch-free or with as minimal damage as possible. I think Wynn's going to try and test his topside, see what his truck's got to get to the front.
And as we look at the other 2 guys carrying an onboard camera for us here tonight, it is Tony Cox, and then you go further back in the field to find the last man on the driver cams for us here tonight. It's Michael Triscaro out of Chagrin Falls, Ohio, looking still to see if he can capture that first win in the main series for the PGR Thursday Night Heat Series. Back up front, already getting the 3 wide, and I feel like we got a little bit of instigating going on. Some of these guys that maybe don't have the cleanest trucks know that they're going to have to push the issue to be up front late in this thing. That's what we're seeing right now, but Matt Lee, the one leading it, his truck's still very clean. He's got Kyler Wynn, who doesn't look like he must have suffered too much damage from that first wreck. Big push as they go down the Talladega back straight away.
Yeah, those 2 trucks look like they're pretty okay. Lee's not running as low down as he needs to be. Merck took a little bit to tuck up to the back bumper. Now they're all 3 there, and they're going to get a huge push out of the corner. A little offset to Matt. Oh, Kyler almost turns Matt.
What do you think?
Matt is clear to the middle, though. Sorry.
No, you're good. I was going to say, I mean, maybe part of the reason we're seeing these guys space out a little bit more is because of that netcode, and some of the guys worried about that. Kyler Wynn, though, still doing plenty of pushing, was able to get Matt Lee clear, although they weren't side drafted as much as we're used to seeing. And so that'll put the 04 in charge in the middle. Garrett Main's going to dive to the bottom, makes a move. Can he make it work here? He's going to get a push from his teammate Cody and Matt. Two of the NVG guys, they'll get lined up as Dylan Jones still in towing. Jeff Merck already back to the front as well. Big movers up here that we just saw in that last wreck.
Yeah, great move from Merck there, getting down to the middle. Hangs out Kyler Wynn, puts him behind him. Kyler's going to want to force the issue and try and get that 3-wide going again, so maybe Merck can hop up in front of him and take him 3-wide. But you got MBG controlling that middle line right now. I think Merck's really safe with being where he's at.
Well, we talked about 30-ish laps, give or take a couple laps on fuel for these guys here tonight. Do you think they pit as soon as that window opens, or do you maybe wait here until we get closer to the end of it?
It's tough to tell with Talladega. It's very easy to get on and off pit road here. You have the banking to be advantage, so it's hard to get away from people. Daytona, it's nice to undercut, and you can get away. With Talladega, it's very hard to.
So we'll see what the teams decide to do here tonight. A lot of people have already single filed out and running towards the back, and notice we're not seeing 3-wide just yet. But I think you're right. I think when we see it happen again, it's going to come from the 82 machine of Kyler Wynn. But as we go further towards the back, looks like William Ransone maybe had issues, wasn't able to start the race here tonight. There's Kevin Freeze with damage, currently drafting with, looks like, Andrew Navarro, who currently finds himself not on the lead lap either. Excuse me. Yeah, not on the lead. Actually, last car on the lead lap. And then Jake Hawes up here in 41st in the 202. Talked about it, first race here tonight. Good to see Jake. We'll see what he can get done here tonight. Wasn't sure if he was involved in that first wreck. The truck appears to be pretty clean, but not attached with that lead draft, so he's still got a lot of work to do. Jackson Holbrook, Tucker McClendon, all guys, and then John Darnell looks to be the last truck on this lead pack. Steve Korsak back in 34th after some of the damage. Zachary Lima still running towards the back of the pack as well, but up front, 2x2, and things are starting to tighten up. Merck jumped to that third lane. Nobody went with him.
He's going to go all the way to the back here, try and shuffle the line, get ready for these pit stops. I think you may see a couple teams try and undercut. The McCullough boys may try it. Maybe the Mains boys, but I think MBG is going to follow off of what Garrett and them do. And then the wild card is going to be KSR. I think they're going to stay out as long as possible. So you're going to see some differing strategies if we can get to these green flag stops. And right now I'm really liking the clean 2-wide racing we're seeing.
Yeah, that's almost part of what, as a broadcast, in terms of watching, is what kind of gets people more excited for the ending. Is you see 2-wide like this for so long that when they start getting 3-wide, you know it's go time. But everybody right now keeping themselves in check. And, man, how about the run right now for Sierra Clamper? Currently at 11. She's up 14 spots from where she started. Came really, really close to getting in a money spot the last couple of weeks. But I think tonight, with some of the trucks we already saw eliminated Baker, she's got a good chance at it.
Yeah, I think she's got a good chance as well. She's been close to the money before. You see 3-wide starting to form back up. Two MVG teammates, Alex Hill and Jeff Merck, trying to go to the front. You would have thought Kyler would have taken it there, but he knows he's biding his time. Garrett's going to hop up to that middle line, control that middle line. Maybe look for Cody to hop out here along with Garrett, try and hang out Garrett in the middle.
Still only those two trucks on the outside, waiting to see who is going to be the third one to jump up and get that line really moving forward. There goes Cody Nagels. He'll jump to the top. Jeff Merck with a big push. Matt Lee now stuck behind Garrett Maines. Nowhere to go, but NBG will still manage control of one of the lanes. That'll put Jason out in charge on the bottom, Garrett in the middle. Cody up top out of turn 2. Matt Lee, though, being stuck in the middle now. Which lane do you think gets the hottest here the quickest?
I think the middle lane's getting really hot. The bottom line, though, just doesn't have the help that it needs. Garrett's clear to the bottom if he wants it. He's going to hold up and hold those temps in the middle lane. You know he's going to. Matt's going to try and force him down. He gets him down. Matt's going to be clear in some clean air. You're going to want Merck to get those fresh temps, so maybe back off a little bit, get that run going. That way, if Garrett hops up, Matt can hop to that third lane and hang him out to dry.
And what this is doing is giving NBG control of 2 out of the 3 lanes. We saw how dominant you guys were on Tuesday, showing more of the same here tonight back in the trucks. Fuel window, important to note, is now, I believe, open. It's really close. I think this next lap is when it would be safely open for everybody. But I don't think we'll see him going just yet. I think you got to wait at least a couple laps. Make sure that you're good to go for an overtime. Oh, thought we saw a little smoke in the back right there. I guess not. I think it might have actually just been the glare off the sunlight. Boy, that threw me for a loop real quick. Up front, still 3 wide. Garrett in the middle. Jason on the bottom. But now the third lane starting to fade a little bit, Baker. As you called it, Merck's starting to fade on 10s. He's going to have to back off of his teammate.
Yeah, and they know the pit stops are coming up. They're coming really soon. You see Sean Hill's going to clear down to that middle line, stack it up, try and get Merck clear, but he's not going to make it work. That track position is going to be lost as they're trying to get ready for these pit stops. But thanks for reminding me about Tuesday, man. I'm still hurting coming out of 4.
Well, it was good for most of the MBG drivers. Apparently not quite all of them. We saw a hit turned out of 4, but nonetheless, looking at a little bit more of what we're seeing here tonight, Jason and Garrett, since that first wreck, I mean, Jason in general came out, put down an absolute heater in qualifying. We know how much talent he's got in the race, but you can see the difference when these guys get the opportunity to start up front and how important it is to control lanes. But don't look now. I see a couple of the Dale Cup guys look like Steve Korsek and maybe Zachary Lima starting to make their way back to the front.
Yeah, they're ready to go 4 wide. Look for them to maybe try it here in a couple laps. They're going to get impatient. Maybe Lima can sneak in there to the middle line. Oh, possibly. He's not going to, though. This top lane's really going to roll. Holy cow. All the temps really came out. You see Merck clear down to the middle, down to the bottom. Cody to the middle. NBG, 1, 2, 3, leading all the lines.
I'll tell you what, Zachary Lima, I mean, how is he able to push this good still with that much damage? Looks like he hit a light pole on the front of his truck, but he is still rolling this third lane right now up to 77. This will be the real test, though, now is Sean Hill the only one out in front. Looks like Sean's maybe got just a little bit of damage on the left side. Don't think it's affecting him, but man, that middle is really starting to roll. Could this be some of the effect of that damage we're seeing on the 4 truck?
And the track position's really swapping here. You can see Matt maybe try peek to the third. He doesn't, though. Gets back in line. Smart move there. I know it's going to bury his teammate, but, you know, not much to do. And Lima doesn't have the truck to really compete. You can tell he said he had 2 minutes of optional still remaining. But he's able to be like the 4th or 5th truck in line and hope that the chaos happens in front of him. But I don't really think he's going to be the lead pusher there.
And you can tell it almost, you know, we talk about the best always rise to the top each and every week as there's a move for Sierra Clampert. She'll jump to the outside. But, I mean, even when we take off the fast spares, it's still pretty much the same guys that we see up front and the same guys that we see.
Oh, Merck's going to turn to the outside wall. He holds into it.
Trying to save it. We got another one out back. It looks like Lima, he's going to hold on to it as well. We stay green as everybody checks up. We had another one that half went around towards the back. Couldn't tell who that was just yet, so a lot of half spins, but nobody fully goes around, so we stay green. But man, this is going to cause a ton of separation throughout the pack. And you see further towards the back, looks like the 8 of Chris Parkman, who we saw get the win last week. He is going to lose the pack from this. John Darnell, another one of the ones that went spinning. And looks like Kenneth Stamper, Jake Hawes, and a couple of these other people towards the back, the 39 and the 3, are going to try to catch this little pack. Jackson, Holbrook, Tucker, McClendon. We'll see what they can do here if they get there. Meanwhile, up front, still hard racing, but now back to 2 lanes, 3 up top, and a lot more on the bottom. You see Jason with control, Cody control up top. Sierra Clampert, she's going to jump to the outside. She'll look to make a run closer to the front.
Yeah, the field's really spread out now. I got to open up to my eagle eye and see what's going on. But you saw Merck really get turned to the outside wall. I don't know really what happened there. If we could go back and take a second look at it when we get the time. But it looked like he was center. It looked like Garrett was center on him, and it just got him completely upset.
And we'll try to do that here real quick. As we go back 2 laps. Watch Jeff Merck in the 60 here, if we can find him. There he is, leading the way on that outside line. Garrett Maines starts to give him a push. Ooh, just sends him down a little bit. And then I think when he tries to, I'm not sure if he makes some contact or when he has to save it, maybe a little bit of an overcorrection. When that sends him up, that sends everybody scattering. And I think there maybe was some panic, as everybody remembered about, we don't have any fast spares here tonight. But nonetheless, that cost Jeff Merck big time. And you hate to see it, but the bad luck just seems to continue for the 60 truck. He is hoping for a caution here tonight. We'll see if he gets one later in this race. Up front, though, still hard racing, Baker. The fuel window now well open, but still no pit stops yet. I'm more impressed with the run that we are seeing right now from Sierra Clampert and Logan York, 2 of the teamless drivers up front, trying to see if they can break their way into the top 5.
Absolutely. I think they're going to stay in line here, though. Not really look to go 3 wide. They're going to stay in line as much as they can, get to those pit stops, and hopefully they can execute.
You saw Kevin Freeze and Andrew Navarro both going another lap down. I think the damage on at least Kevin, I couldn't tell for Andrew, but both of those trucks may be too terminal for them to have any chance. They're hoping that maybe something can happen or they can stay on to the back of this lead draft. And a lot of guys hoping to see a caution sooner or later to get the lucky dog, as they've gotten pretty spread out around the track. In fact, there you see it. All the way from about turn 3 to the entrance of turn 1 is the general spread of the field. And look at the speeds that these guys are running right now up front. Not as fast as what we're used to seeing. Don't get me wrong, 187 miles an hour is still flying. But we've seen these guys getting upwards in maybe the low 190s. But right now, going to be staying right around the mid to upper 180s. Is a lot of pushing, but not quite as aggressive of pushing as we're going to see at the end of this race. That first wreck made everybody really nervous, but 25 laps to go. Still awaiting that one and only pit stop of the night.
As you see it getting a little bit tighter, more people getting to this lead pack. Clampert looking to maybe go 3 wide. She does. She's got Logan York behind her. Maybe Sean Hill's going to sneak up. Maybe she'll... Yeah, he goes to the middle just like we thought. Cody Nagel's going to fill that middle spot once he gets the opportunity. He does.
How about no fast repairs? And this might be the most aggressive that we have seen Sierra Clampert be since the PGR Thursday Night Heat Series started, and it is paying off for her right now. Only problem is this lane not really getting any more help. You see Jeff Merck tucked in line, still nobody to go. Looks like now Steve Korsak, he's willing to push the issue just a little bit. He'll jump up top. And I'll tell you what it looked like right there to me, Baker, when they came through 3 and 4, Sierra just a little bit uncomfortable off the front bumper of Logan York. I got to think that's just two drivers that maybe aren't used to working with each other.
Yeah, it's just, people not in the same Discord communicating. Oh, my goodness, she almost gets turned by Logan York as I say that. But just Logan York's running way higher than he needs to be, and it's just really upsetting Sierra's car, pushing her up the track and then almost hooking her.
And as they go into turn 3, they continue to stay 3 by 3. No signs of pit stops just yet. Now Cody Nagel's going to jump back up to the middle. He'll try to hold off the run from Garrett Maines. Looks like the third lane starting to fade. Steve will jump back down. Now Sierra's going to tuck in line as well. Expect the 01 of Logan to do the same. Going to be coming to 23 laps to go. Jason Maines on the bottom. Cody Nagel's in the middle. We're going to take a quick break, but you won't miss a thing. We'll be right back at Talladega. Front. Now we're going to see a little 4-wide action.
Crazy out of the trial.
Oh, he gets into the lead under record.
3 by 3 entering
3 do. At the flag stand, side by side, it's going to be Jason Maines winning it at Talladega.
Ghost Racing Network now has merch. Go to grnmerch.com to browse our selections from stickers to custom-made by request hoodies and shirts. If you've ever wanted to support Ghost Racing Network outside of YouTube, here's your chance. Ghost Racing Network, for the scary side of iRacing.
Back live at Talladega Superspeedway for PGR Thursday Night Heat. Up front, not too much of a change. Cody Nagel's on the bottom. Garrett Maines in the middle. But while we were on break, we are continuing to see a lot of haymakers being thrown by Sierra Clampert. She made a couple more looks to the third lane. Couldn't get much help. But again, Baker, I'm telling you, that aggression will pay off. Hold that thought. Pit stops underway. Looks like it's going to be Mullahan and the rest of McCall Motorsports. Apologize for getting race info on your screen, but it looks like they're all going to get into the pits clean. Dustin Carruthers follows as well. And I think that's partially as KSR got split. I think Dustin choosing to go with the McCall group here tonight. I think that's a pretty good choice, but I don't know, Baker. 20 laps to go. Which strategy do you like better, this one or the guy staying out?
I think I like the short strategy right now. It was a little offset on the fuel, so these guys are going to have to run it all the way out to make the time up.
I think they'll be able to do that as Ken McCall Jr. is going to lead them out, and they'll get some help. This is what's going to make this really interesting. It's not quite set up fully the normal way we're used to seeing it, where everybody's together, so you don't have any draft. These trucks are very spread out right now in terms of we got a bunch of different packs around this track, so I think what you might see is if McCall Motorsports can catch a couple of lucky breaks, they may catch a couple of the drafts around this track, and that may ultimately help them gain some time here in this long run and hurt the front pack.
And that's what's happening right now. Kenneth McCullough is getting a pull off the backside of this very, very long backpack. They don't have many of their teammates with them. They don't have Chris and Devin and Dustin with them, but they're at least going to make some time up with this big pack.
They are going to make some time here, but I'm telling you, Baker, I almost wonder if when they catch this pack, it's actually going to hurt their time a little bit. They don't have their teammates, so it's not the guys that they're used to pushing. And this pack has already lost the draft, so you know they're not quite holding the speed we're used to seeing, but we'll see if they can make it work as they catch up to the back bumper of Tony Cox. Meanwhile, up front, still a lot of hard racing. Cody Nagel's going to jump back up to the top line. Jason Maines, that'll open it up to the bottom. Ooh, Sean Corbett got really out of shape, but as they come off of turn 4, still no signs of pit stops, though. This time, Cody is going to get him, Garrett, and looks like Matt Lee, even Alex Hillclear. Oh, my goodness. Not sure if what happened there?
It just looks like Sean Corbett didn't give a good push to Jason there. He'll let him really roll.
And so Jason right now trying to figure out what in the world just happened. Lee's going to jump back up to the top. I thought maybe Jason was choosing to let a couple of these guys down. I know he was trying to let Garrett down, or he would try to let Garrett down in a certain circumstance, but it seemed like an odd spot to do it right there. So, yeah, I think the push from Sean Corbett just wasn't there after he got loose. And now the top starting to roll again. Looks like Lee will get clear to drop down. And it'll be 17 laps to go when we cross the line this time. Watch to see if these guys decide to pit out of 4s. It looks like some of the guys further back have pits. Some of the groups that were not with the leaders, Justin Mills, John Ward. And up front, it looks like they are going to continue to stay out for yet another lap.
We're going to give a black flag to Reardon. Looks like when Elliott went into pit road, he got absolutely demolished there going in. Got killed by Reardon.
Ooh.
He's getting the black flag right now.
Yeah, man, that is a tough break. Let's take a look at this one here. See, Richard Elliott was leading this pack. He's going to pull down, hoping everybody is going to slow down to the pits, and the 37, man, just pile drives right into the back. Nothing Richard Elliott could do, and as noted, that was Joseph Reardon. Let's take a look from the onboard real quick for Joseph here and see if maybe there was something we couldn't see from that view. I mean, you saw the truck fishtailing around, but it didn't look like he ever scrubbed off really any speed. Yeah, he really didn't. That was such an odd look. Maybe just some inexperience first race. But that is a tough break for Richard Elliott, as that's probably going to put his night to an end. Maybe both trucks with how hard that contact was. So as we go back up front, it is now 16 laps to go. It's starting to feel a little bit like a survival race in terms of everybody just hoping that they can make it to this final pit stop. Oh, we got some trouble. Heath Job, Danny Barnes, it looks like potentially. And going back to see if we can find what exactly happened to these two. And Heath Job, might have been something coming to pit road, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like a big stack up on pit road.
And so we'll take a look. Trouble for now the second group coming onto the pits. Here you go. Heath Job is going to duck down. And, ooh, was that Michael Triscaro? I believe it was in the 34 truck. Just got into the back again, late on the brakes. Maybe couldn't tell what was going on. And then Heath Job and Danny Barnes get together. Everybody able to make to the pits, though. So yet again, we stay green. But if you're this pack up front, Baker, do you think this is making you more nervous or less nervous? As he's actually taking care of some things. We'll go up front. Oh, this is going to get really dicey. All the lap trucks finally going to get up to the high groove for a minute. It looked like they were going to split in all 3 lanes and make these guys figure out how to go around. But now as they split up 3 wide, Garrett Maines on the bottom. You see the lap trucks up top. Now Cody's going to jump back down to the bottom as well. Gives his teammate Matt Lee control in the middle. 15 laps to go, but what's going to happen here is you're going to start to add on more and more of these lap trucks to the pack, and these lap trucks, they've got nothing to race for if they don't get a caution. So what I think we might start to see here, Baker, is some of these lap trucks actually more or less entice the rest of the field here and try to get racy and maybe make them race hard enough to bring out a caution. And so I think Baker is still getting some things taken care of. There's Dustin Carruthers in the 10. They will go by him as take a look back at some of the driver cams tonight, at least some of the guys that we still have towards the front. We've seen quite a bit of chaos here tonight, but not for Cody Nagels. It's been relatively smooth sailing for the 6th machine here since the start of the race. Trying to see if he can get his 2nd Super Speedway win here in back-to-back days. And we will see if he can finish this thing off. You got to go a little bit further back to find another one of our driver cams here tonight, and it is Trevor Osmernoth, who is still currently running inside this front pack, and he is in 13th. But the job Sarah Clampert's doing, doesn't have a driver cam, but she is currently sitting in 10th. Again, I believe it's top 6 payout here tonight. We'll talk more about those in just a moment. But Trevor Osmernoth having a good run up to this point. Further back in the field, Tony Cox, not the night he was looking for. We're used to seeing Tony more in the Tuesday Night Thunder Series, but he's making some appearances. And PGR getting better and better. It's just a matter of time, but right now the driver of the 72 finds himself in 24th position. Still up 17 overall from where he started this race at tonight. And ooh, looks like, did Bradley Steffen have some trouble? Looks like whatever it was, he has immediately towed it to the pits. Oh, big trouble for the 89. Heavy damage on the right side. Let's go back and take a look. This is going to be coming off of turn 4. And the 89, see that truck just heading to the inside wall? He'll make some contact before he locks it down. And I believe he just, I'm not sure if he had some technical difficulties or what happened, but that will indeed end his night. Has 13 laps to go on pit road. Up front, though, 3 wide, and some of the lap trucks still not making the issue or not pushing the issue just yet. But you see John Ward and company catching back up front. NBG still in control, but how long can they stay this calm, Baker?
Yeah, I don't know. I think the pit stops are coming right now. You're going to see a bunch of people pitting right now. I mean, this entire front pack is going to have to pit.
They're going to have to here as we approach 12. Going to be 11 laps to go this time, getting right about at the end of the fuel window. This is the money stop, though. You got to make sure you execute perfectly. Can everybody get in here without hitting each other? Here we go. Pit stops underway. It's going to be just about the whole field. Everybody trying to get rolled up. Kyler Wynn getting it way too hot. He's going to miss it. Somehow makes it. The 89 of Trevor Osmernoth got into the grass. Couldn't make his box, but oh my goodness. Did you see the approach right there from Kyler Wynn? How did he get down to pit speed?
I don't know if he did. We'll see here once he's stopped in the box or he's got to serve a penalty, but that was very impressive by him to get on and off pit road that fast.
And I'm thinking he didn't. He made it down to pit speed. That is absolutely amazing. I don't know how he was able to do that in that situation but you got to figure when you don't have teammates and you need track position, you got to take desperate measures. That is exactly what Kyler Wynn did right there, and it pays off for him in a big way as he'll gain a ton of spots out of the pits. But let's go right on board with the 82 and watch just how many positions he picks up. You see here, he is all the way back, and actually we'll back this up and take a cockpit view. He's about 7 or 8 spots back from the lead, and he's going to duck out. He's going to go all the way to the bottom. And actually, I think he wanted to brake just a little bit earlier, but he saw Logan York, and he basically dirt tracks it into the pits, and there was just a gap for him to slide in. Tell you what, that took a lot of skill, but I think that maybe took a little bit of luck as well, and I don't think he'd want to try that again if you asked him.
Yeah, no way. I just don't understand how he made it down to pit speed. Very impressive by him, but you're going to see everyone start to get lined up here and get ready for these last couple of laps. We're going to come to 10 to go here.
10 to go. You got 4 trucks leading. That's the lead pack. The second pack, Jason Maines, Ryan Baste, Alex Hill, Matt Lee, Dylan Jones. I think they'll be able to catch. Same for this third pack right now, which does contain Logan York and Heath Job. And actually the 760 of Heath Job I don't believe is on the lead lap right now. But Logan using it more or less as a pick. Tucker McClendon, John Mullihan. But Sarah Clampert finds herself in 18th. Just a little bit of a mistake on the pits. And, man, she was having such a good night. Looked like she was going to have a great chance of cashing out at the end of this thing, but now finds herself out of the top 15, and I think she's going to be in need of a caution here if she wants another chance at it.
Yeah, definitely think you need another caution here. Logan York almost wrecked Heath Job there through 3 and 4, but he's trying to catch up to this lead pack. As you see, the top 8, top 9 get into this last few laps here.
And the problem for Logan York was that he only has 1 truck, but it looks like Tony Cox in the 72 has caught on to these three, so if they can get linked up quick enough, there's still a chance they get back to the back bumper of Dylan Jones that is currently 2 seconds ahead. They've also got a bridge truck in between right there that's also helping them out a little bit, but Garrett Maines getting a little racy here with Steve Korosek. These guys haven't even caught the lead pack yet, or excuse me, these guys did catch the lead pack and went immediately. Steve Korosek leading the inside, Garrett up top, Kyler Wynn, Jason Maines, Ryan Bass going to jump up top 2 now. As you see Matt Lee, so they're going to split about dead even. Let's take a look real quick before we go any further at what the payouts are looking like here for tonight's race. Pretty much same format as what we saw last week. It is going to be top 6. First place, $250. Second is going to go home with $200. Third is going to be $150. Fourth, $130. Fifth place, $110. And sixth place, $100. And it's been a pretty good one so far here tonight, Baker. I mean, all in all, we've only seen one caution.
Yeah, good payouts. You got 300 to first, 200 to second, 175 to third, 150 to fourth, 115, and 100.
And so I had the payouts off just a little bit, but nonetheless, more money is better than less money. Garrett Maines on the outside, expecting a push here from Kyler Wynn. Doesn't look like they're quite as organized as you would expect. It looked like the 77 here is looking to make a move. That was a really awkward move. It looked like Cody thought about going as well, had to think better of it. He'll stay down with Steve Korosek as they go by the lap truck of Brock Westmoreland. Coming up on a couple more, looks like going to be Michael Triscaro and Kenneth Stamper. As we now hit 7 laps to go. Still side by side. Do you think we'll see any third lane get going before this thing's all said and done?
Well, they're going to have to go around these lap cars towards the middle here. And they're going to take those top 2 lines. I mean, they held their line. Nothing really wrong there.
As you see Michael Triscaro actually going to jump out from behind Kenneth Stamper here. And I think maybe Kenneth's got a little bit more damage than what the 34 has here tonight. And feels like he's getting held up a little bit. So he'll try to stick on with this lead pack again, just in case of a caution. And I wouldn't rule it out yet either. Well, at the end of the day, there may be no fast repairs at these guys know they're going to have to race the guys that aren't in payout positions. And I mean, you look at this lead pack right now, it goes all the way back to Ryan Bass, who sits in 9th. And that means, looks like 3 of these guys are going to be going home without money here tonight. Ken McCall Jr. off of turn number 4, trying to catch up. Strategy doesn't look like it worked out for McCall Motorsports and a couple of the other people that followed. As right now he sits about 11 seconds, so he's going to need a caution. 11 seconds behind the back bumper of the last truck in this lead pack. Mark Vondell, Brock Westmoreland, 2 of the lap trucks that are trying to hang on. Don't think they're going to be able to do it, so they will stay side by side up front. And the main 2 teams that you got battling right here is going to be the Mains boys and NVG. You throw in a couple wild cards though. You got Kyler Wynn, and you can't forget about Ryan Bass. Boy, he's had a great night here tonight as well.
And you see the racing starting to pick up. Still 2 wide. Not many cars there to really support a 3 wide scenario. So you're going to really see a lot of 2 wide racing come into the end of this race, I think.
2 wide, but for how long? You don't really have teammates necessarily lined up at the front. They're all still trying to figure it out, but when you have payouts this big, you got to be extra conservative about how you race it out. Doesn't look like it's the case right now, though, for Cody, as he continues to try to work these lanes up, down, and they're going to be catching a couple more lap trucks. It looks like Trevor Osmanoff, along with Chris Parkman and a couple others. Justin Mills might have been one of those in that little 4-truck group. And I'm telling you, Baker, just as a driver, it always makes me more nervous whenever you start to tack on lap tricks to the pack, because you never know what they're going to do.
Yeah, and you see these lap cars starting to become an issue here. One car stuck to the bottom trying to get to the top for these lap cars. They're still going to stay 2 wide. Lap cars going to the top, all 4 of them.
And as they go to the top, everybody will go screaming by, but they've all went to the middle here. Matt Lee by himself on the bottom. This is going to shuffle some things up. Steve Korosek, though, is going to make the move on Garrett Maines. He'll jump down to the bottom. Looks like Cody Nagels is going to follow Dylan Jones. He'll stay up top. So does Alex Hill in the 77. NBG leading the way, but Action picking up the 37, another lap truck. They're going to be coming up on soon. And after that, it'll be 3 laps to go. Maybe no more lap traffic in the picture. But when we hit that white flag, Baker, all bets are off. Can these guys keep it clean the rest of the way?
I think they are. I mean, you know, these top 9 are really pushing through each other in the middle line. Oh man, Kyler Wynn almost gets wrecked by Jason. Holy cow!
Yeah, they're racing really, really hard right now. Even though they're kind of single file, it's a little bit of an odd look. Everybody's migrated to the middle. This is almost what we see with the next gens. Not so much the trucks, but, this could be a strategy by the mains boys. Right now, as they sit here, Baker, they've got Cody in a good spot to where if they split him, even if he's got teammates, they're not going to be able to get to him in time. But as we see here, Matt Lee going down to help Steve, that is going to hinder what strategy I think Garrett Maines was trying to pull right here. He'll have to jump to the bottom, makes the move. Is he going to get there? He does. Big push from Steve Korsek. The one truck now out in front in turn 3.
Garrett Maines gets the lead. Steve Korsek may clear to the middle. He doesn't. Maines going to stay up. He goes up to that middle line. Only 2 trucks left on the bottom. It's going to bury that bottom.
Cody in a little bit of an odd spot here again now because he's kind of in a sandwich of the mains boys. So if he jumps up, he's not going to get much help here. He does have the 77, the 82. I think we might see those two split 3 wide. 2 laps to go. Last chance for a caution. If we're going to get one, it's going to have to be this lap. 27, Steve Korsek still trying to make a run on the bottom, but still not much help down there. Just him and Matt Lee out of turn 2.
Great racing up front for this last lap. Can't believe we may make it to this white flag. I hope we do. I hope I don't jinx us. We're going into turn 3, 2 by 2. That third lane's starting to form.
Certainly is, and it looks like the first 2 takers, it's going to be Ryan Baste along with one of the lap trucks, Trevor Oswanoff. And this is what I talked about. Sometimes lap trucks can be your worst enemy or your best friend. In this case, it's going to be Ryan Baste, his best friend. Trevor Oswanoff just trying to see who he can push to the front. And if Baste can get rolling far enough, they might attract 1 or 2 more trucks to jump to the outside. But this race will be official. Caution! No, it won't. Caution is out as we got a huge wreck on the back straightaway, and I cannot tell you what the leaders must be thinking right now. The reaction from Cody Nagels and more company up front, and they have got to be saying to themselves, what in the heck? Trying to go back and figure out exactly who was in the caution. Brandon Broadfoot, one of the trucks, so he's going to have to tow immediately. J.R. Miller. Not sure if Heath Joe was in. I don't think he was. J.R. Miller with heavy damage. And the 78, that's going to end his night for sure. And let's go back and take a look. This will change the complexity of this race. But, oh my goodness. Well, there's a screenshot for you as we go back. Brandon Broadfoot. Oh, no. Oh, that's not a good look to start. Well, let's go back and take a look at this one here. Brandon Broadfoot. Wow. Starts a while back. And here we go. Let's ride on the cockpit and break this down for you. Turn 1, Broadfoot not with the lead pack here. In fact, this is that second pack. Ken McCall Jr. and a couple others. And looks like Broadfoot running up the track is going to dive in line and then just goes straight down to the inside wall. Absolutely murks it. Comes back up on track. Looks like the truck's locked down, but just stopped in the middle of the pack. Here comes the rest of the field. I got to think that's some sort of technical issue. In fact, let's go back and take a ride on board here with Brandon Broadfoot. One of the most odd things that I think I have ever seen in money racing. But yeah, you certainly think that's some sort of technical issue. As watch his wheel as he comes off of 2. Starts going down and then wheel goes all the way left. He tries to steer back, hits the wall, and then see a little bit of movement in the hands, but not much as he locks it down and the wheel stays left. Now it goes back straight, but you'll have to get word on that. I'm thinking there must have been some sort of a technical issue. Again, a very, very odd look that you don't normally see. Let's take a couple different angles of this one. As you see Broadfoot, as they come down the backstretch, here he goes, boom, big hit. This is going to be the one that's going to absolutely kill some of these guys. Once he comes back on track, there's just going to be nowhere to go. The field bearing down. A couple guys try to miss it, split it. Dustin Carruthers, J.R. Miller, and company just never even saw it coming. We'll take 2 more looks at it. Here's the view for J.R. Miller, and you'll see just how never saw this. There was no call-outs about a truck stopped on track. You see he's tucked behind Ron Morris Jr., and he's going to see it for a second. And next time he sees it, it's too late. Take one more look here from the TV follow cam. That's definitely not the way we expected this race to come to an ending with a caution. Probably about 100 yards before the start-finish line. to a wreck that we assume was from a technical issue. Again, we'll find out here more, but as we go back up front, it is Cody Nagels being scored as your leader. Garrett Maines at second, Dylan Jones third, Matt Lee in fourth, Alex Hill fifth, Ryan Bass sixth, Kyler Wynn in seventh, Jason Maines in eighth, Ken McCall Jr. ninth, and John Mullahan rounding out your top 10, and it is indeed going to be an overtime finish. Baker, any verdict yet? Looks like he's still maybe getting some of it all sorted out. I'll tell you what, though, while we wait, I believe we have Dawson Wise that has joined us in the booth. We're going to get him in. We were hoping we could make the announcement earlier, but we had so much green flag racing. But nonetheless, Dawson has a pretty special event coming up on Sunday. I think he's got some more to tell us about it. Dawson, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, Austin. Glad you guys are letting me interrupt here for a second. I will say, number one, I've already seen it was a steering issue for Brandon Broadfoot. So I hate to break in and do Baker's job, but Broadfoot did say he lost steering there on the backstretch. But no, on Sunday afternoon, it's a special afternoon start time. I'll be live at 1:45 on the Turn 3 Racing Network, 1:45 p.m. Eastern. It's the Ryan Sadusky Gobble Gobble 500. These same trucks at Talladega, 188 laps in. It's several of the guys you see on track tonight. It's a hodgepodge field, money guys, league guys, just a completely diverse field. It's going to be really fun. We're celebrating the life of Ryan Sadusky and also ringing in the Thanksgiving week, and it's going to be a really fun broadcast. I've got a 30-minute post-race or pre-race show planned for that, and I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's, again, on the Turn 3 Racing Network. I'll be live about 1:45 p.m. on Sunday afternoon, and then you get to follow it up with NSRA playoff racing, so a fun double feature on Sunday. I can't wait. I'm really excited.
So it's going to be a great day of racing. Make sure you go check it out. Thanks for giving us a quick word, Dawson. And before we get back to the green here, see if we can pull Cody Nagels up for just a quick word. Hey, Cody, this is Austin and Baker up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah.
Well, boy, that caution caught me off guard. I don't know about you, but, man, that changes the complexity of this race entirely. What's going to be the strategy here for this crazy restart?
For my teammate to push the ever-living crap out of me, and hopefully it's good enough to get me the win.
Well, looking at fuel, we know you're good to go on fuel, but looking a little bit further back here, you got a couple teammates, and we got a couple wild cards. That third lane's been rolling pretty well tonight. Is there any thought about jumping up there, or do you just try to control the middle and the bottom?
I think just control the middle and the bottom, and then if they clear, maybe just give them a nice push and try to clear myself.
All right. Well, thanks for giving us a quick word. Getting ready to go green. Good luck these next 2 laps. See if you can get it done.
Thank you.
All right. Now, I assume we got Baker back here just as we're getting ready to go green. Man, a lot of chaos, Baker. We're going to see more of it right here. 2-lap shootout to decide it.
Yeah, hopefully we can keep it clean. We had a good run there until that unfortunate sequence of events, but it won't happen again. But we're going to see this green flag come out here. You're going to have the 2 MVG teammates up top. You're going to have Dylan pushing Garrett with Sean behind him. You know Sean's not going to give up no matter where his team is. Green flag in the air. Big push on the outside line. 2 laps to go here.
2 laps remaining at Talladega overtime number 1. Garrett Maines, Cody Nagels, both off to the races with a good start. Matt Lee, a teammate on the outside for NBG. Dylan Jones, a teammate for the Maines boys on the inside third row. Going to be the decision makers. You see him starting to fade a little bit. If we can make it all the way around here to take the white flag, that would make this race official. But they'll drag race down the backstretch. Who is going to make that third line roll first? Looking a bit further towards the back. Still no takers just yet. Got a couple. Looks like Jeff Merck and Christopher McCall, but not going to get any help. Left to duck down now. John Mullahan's going to get a shot at it. 3 wide contact. Jason Maines loses his rear bumper, comes down. John Mullahan saves it. Chaos as they exit turn 4.
Oh, big wreck behind.
Big wreck. This will collect 2, 3. Mullahan's in it. Ron Morse Jr.'s in it. Zachary Lima nowhere to go. Tony Cox slides down to the apron. John Darnell, I think, got back going. Zachary Lima, though, he had to tow immediately as we saw Tony Cox involved in this one as well. Looks like he was able to get back rolling, but pretty heavy left side damage to the 72. Man, Tony had been having a good night. Brings out your third caution of the night, and this is what you unfortunately come to expect when you get these late cautions, a lot on the line. And let's see what happened there. They initially looked like Mullahan and Maines had actually got together a couple times there through 3, in the middle of 3 and 4, but they both had saved it. It looked like initially it continued on, but boy, they never did make it out of turn 4, so somewhere this all goes wrong. As we back it up, show you a couple different angles of it here. And so Mullahan and Jason, they make quite a bit of contact here to the point where it actually rips Jason's bumper off. And Jason able to save it, gets back in line here, but I think it's going to be back here with John Mullahan. Is where this wreck's going to start, and looking for him here. Not seeing. Ooh, looks like maybe they get 4 wide. We'll get a better angle of this. In fact, let's go to TV follow, and then once they get up into the wall, it's just the mad dash to miss it. You see some more contact back there, but here we go. So once Mullahan gets to the wall, Christopher McCall comes along, and Mullahan's wiggling. Chris tries to split it 4 wide, and Mullahan was wiggling a little bit. They make some contact. That gets Chris into Devin Ray. And then Devin Ray, Ron Morris Jr. go up the track hard into the outside wall. I mean, you talk about friendly fire. That got 4 McCall Motorsports trucks in one wreck. And then there you go, sliding down. Everybody else just trying to miss it. Let's see, Tony Cox, you see him slide down on the apron. Makes pretty heavy contact right there with Brock Westmoreland. 72 is going to tag the inside wall. And John Mullahan slide down. Ron Morris Jr. Zachary Lima took a pretty hard hit in this one. He was trying to shoot the gap. Unfortunately, the gap closed up on him. Let's take a ride on board. He sees the wreck. No caution yet. Caution's out. He's hoping to shoot the gap and hold track position, but fortunately doesn't make it through. It's a little bit of a pile drive. I think if you're Lima, I'm not sure if he was maybe a little bit more focused. One of the trucks on his inside. I think you got to let off in this case. But not sure when the caution had came out exactly, if it was at that point or not. But yeah, that's definitely a tough break for the guys that were already damaged. Then Lima, that'll finish his night off as you heard the engine expire through that wreck. Fans
get his night off in a big way. He thought there was a gap there, and it was not.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't. And as we take a couple more views, the fans got a good angle of it. That's a tough break for Tony Cox and Brock Westmoreland. We saw those two go down low, and then a couple other guys all able to miss this one. But Baker, it's a product. We talked about it, late restarts, cautions, breed cautions. I don't know. It's getting me nervous on if we're going to see another one right here. And so it looks like up front it is Garrett Main still holding the lead. Cody Nagels in second, Matt Lee third, Dylan Jones in fourth, Kyler Wynn in fifth, Alex Hill in sixth. Jason Main's back in seventh, Steve Korsak eighth. Sarah Clampert back inside the top 10. She's in ninth, still with a chance now for her first cash out of the series. And Jeff Merck currently rounding out your top 10. Can't forget about Logan York in 11th. Been having a pretty good run tonight. Before that last pit stop, we saw him up in this front pack doing a lot of pushing, making a lot of moves, and expecting quite a few more of them right here. Ryan Baste in 13th, Ken McCall Jr. back in 14th, John Ward 15th. But I'll tell you what, that, like we said, that last wreck was a lot of collateral damage from McCall Motorsports, and you got to think that's going to just about end their chances of getting anybody in the money tonight. Ken trying to carry the torch to the rest of the way. We'll see if he can do it. But with one to go here, Baker, and all the chaos we've seen, I think I want the inside here if I'm anybody in this front five on that last lap.
Yeah, it just looks like, Jason tried to go up to the top, came back to the middle, got a little loose. Mullahan came back and went to the 4 wide. But coming down to this last lap, I don't know if Cody is going to be able to make it on fuel. And I don't think Kyler Wynn can make it on fuel either. So it's going to be very interesting coming down to this checker flag.
And it certainly didn't look like that was going to be the scenario here when all these pit stops occurred, but all the extra laps that we have ran made it a little interesting. But talk about when they pit, I thought these guys pit with enough time to where they were plenty good to go. I mean, we saw McCall Motorsports pit with 20 to go. You figure these guys get about 30 laps on fuel, give or take, and I thought we saw the mains group of them pit at least 5 laps after that. But man, if you were to run out of fuel in the middle of the pack, especially from the lead, that could be a cause for disaster. So we'll see what happens here. But Garrett and Cody, we've seen them up front all night. No surprise there. Same deal for Matt Lee and Dylan Jones. But we know how aggressive Kyler Wynn could be. And, I mean, I think when you talk about guys that don't have teammates and still always find a way to make money, you got to look no further than Kyler Wynn and Daniel Eberhardt. Somehow, some way they figure it out every time we come to these plate tracks.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys always get it done. Oh, man, hold on 1 second.
And hoping we didn't have more trouble towards the back of the field here. What do we got going on here? We got a 4 or 5 wide scramble. These guys can't decide how they want to restart. And now we got one up in the wall, Alex Hill. It looks like he's going to get it back down, get things sorted out. Michael Triscaro back there as well. Oh, Alex, he must have had an issue there. Might have disconnected. That's a tough break for the 77. That'll end his night, it appears. But here we go, rolling back into the Geico restart zone. Overtime number 2. Green flag back in the air. 2 laps to go at Talladega. We already got one jumping out of line further towards the back. Looks like it's going to be the 39, I believe, of Tucker McClendon. Up front, though, Garrett Maines this time with a little bit of a better restart than the last one. He's trying to get out ahead of Cody Nagels. Big push on the bottom from Dylan Jones. Big push up top from Matt Lee. Who can get the momentum down the back straightaway? Here comes Sierra Clamper, Jeff Merck, and Jason Maines on the bottom.
Jason Maines going to get a good run from Jeff Merck if he can get lined up in time. Kenneth McCullough right there as well to go 3 wide. I think they're not going to take it till they get all the way there. Kenneth McCullough may go early, but he's definitely going to wait for that line to roll.
And as they work their way through 3 and 4, again, if we can make to the white flag, this race will be official. Sierra chose to stay on the bottom. It'll put her about 4th. She's going to be on the borderline of if she can get into the money. It's all going to play out in front of her. But here we go into the trioval. Going to be the final lap. White flag in the air. 1 lap to go at Talladega. Cody Nagel still out in front. Garrett on the inside, though, with Dylan Jones. A lot of pushing now. Cody's going to get clear. He'll drop down the bottom. That puts NBG in front on both lanes. Can they keep it clean to the finish?
Jason laying back a little bit at 3rd line on the middle, but he's not going to go yet. Kenneth may go. They get a little squirrely there through the bottom. You see Jason go to the top.
And a lot of pushing now as that 3rd lane well established. Jason doing everything he can. Side draft and ooh, a little bit of net code maybe. They're going to almost get 4 wide. They settle back down to 3. One's going to get turned. It's Sierra Clamper. Jeff Merck is around as well. Up front, they keep it clean. 2 by 2 out of 4. Cody Nagels on the bottom looking for one more. Big push here from Garrett Maines. Matt Lee on the top with Steve Korsek. This could be a drag race all the way to the checkered flag. Now Steve's going to split out wide. Cody Nagels, no contest. He'll win it at Talladega. And what a win for the 6 machine as they rack hard out back. And heartbreak again for Sierra Clamper. It looked like she was on the border of getting a money spot. But a move there at the end for Steve Korsek. Looks like maybe it cost him a spot more than it would have gained him. But man, oh man, crazy finish that we saw shaping up there. Certainly mellowed out in the last about 100 yards or so. But here we go. Let's go all the way back to this first incident involving Sierra Clampert and Jeff Merck. See what happens here. You see, looks like Ken McCall Jr. up top. We saw Ken actually get shot at the line by something, and then, ooh, looks like Ken and Merck get together there as well. After Ken got shot out of line, it looks, I'm not sure if there's a little netcode contact, can't tell from this view, but that sends the 60 back down the track into Sierra, and then Logan York nowhere to go. That sends those 2 around. But up front, this is where the real battle heats up. Steve Korsek, he had a chance here to maybe push Matt Lee to the win before he splits him 3 wide, because you see Kyler Winhop out as well, but I think Kyler was gearing up to take it 3 wide anyway if Steve didn't, and here we go as they get into the tribal. Yeah, sure enough, Kyler had jumped out. That's why Steve jumped out to block it. Kyler said, okay, I'll go back down to the middle, did so. So actually, I don't think it really hurt Steve too much, just hurt the outside in general. Cody Nagels able to capture it with a pretty demanding win. Well, as we take a look at the results here for the night, getting the win, the 6 for NBG Motorsports. Cody Nagels gets the job done. Garrett Maines brings home 2nd. Matt Lee rounding out the podium. Dylan Jones in 4th. Steve Korsek 5th. Kyler Wynn, last money spot tonight in 6th. Ken McCall Jr. gets 7th. Ryan Based in 8th. Sean Corbett in 9th. Logan York rounding out your top 10. John Ward in 11th. Trevor Osronoff in 12th. Jeff Merck in 13th. Justin Mills back in 14th. Devin Ray in 15th. Alex Hill in 16th. Mike Davenport in 17th with Sierra Clampert in 18th. Moving on back to the 19th position, Michael Triscaro, and rounding out the top 20 is Chris Parkman.
21st, you got David Sheets, Tucker McClendon in 22nd. 23rd, Mark Vondell, Brock Westmoreland in 24th. Tony Cox, 25th. Jason Maines, 26th. Richard Elliott in 27th. Heath Job in 28th. 29th, Kenneth Stamper, Andrew Navarro in 30th. 31st, you got John Darnell, Joseph Reardon in 32nd. 33rd, Kevin Fries, John Mollahan in 34th. Ron Morris Jr. in 35th. 36th, Christian McCullough. 37th, Zachary Lima. Justin Crothers in 38th. 39th, Brandon Bradfoot. J.R. Miller in 40th. 41st, Jackson Holbrook. Danny Barnes in 42nd. 43rd, Jake Hawes, Bradley Stefani, and 44th, and William Redstone did not make the field, 45th.
And we are going to go get your top 3 in here for interviews, including your winner, Cody Nagel. Stick with us. We'll be right back. All right, back live at Talladega Superspeedway. Going to start first tonight with your third place finisher, Matthew Lee. Stands by with Matthew Baker.
Hey, Lee, it's Baker and Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Gotcha.
Well, seemed like once you got up front, you didn't really relinquish what was going on. Take me through that final lap and what you thought you could have done to get the win.
Yeah, I was really just depending on what Steve was going to do at the end there. I mean, I think if Steve stayed with me through the trial, well, you know, he was pushing great once Cody got down. But, you know, it's just like once he went to the outside, there's nothing more I could do, really. Just stay there, and what I got is what I got. Momentum was dead.
Well, how close were you guys there on field? Because I saw after the late caution there, almost getting to that white flag when the wreck happened on the backstretch. How close were you and Cody there on field?
Cody was about a half a lap worse than me. I had enough for that one easily, and then to get back around to the pits, but definitely not enough for another. I was close, but Cody was definitely, that's all he had.
Well, like we say, it's 70% luck and 30% skill, and all 30% of that skill is on show tonight. Anyone to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I just got to thank the MBG guys, Cody, Merck, Alex. You know, those guys had a rough race, and we're up there helping out. Martin Sports, anyone looking for sim racing, gloves, shirts, jerseys, anything like that, check them out, martinsports906.com.
Well, Matt, thanks for talking to us. Hopefully you get a couple spots better next time, and we'll talk to you in the next one.
Hey, still shooting for that first one.
That'll bring us to your second place finisher here tonight. Baker also stands by with Garrett Maines.
Hey, Garrett, it's Matt and Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, like I was talking to Matt, it seems like you, him, and Cody up front were working really well together. Once you guys got up front, didn't really relinquish the lead. You guys got to those pit stops and almost made it to the start-finish line for that white flag. But how close were you and Dylan and company on fuel there coming to the end?
Well, I'm not actually sure where anybody else was on fuel. I know other than my dad, I think he was about to run out. I was up there in the chat while we were battling at the front. But yeah, I think I talked to Cody. He was saying he was out of gas. I was good for another stop. I had just enough to make one more green white checker just in case. So the rare occasion that I'm on the right end of the strategy. But you know, the usual, the caution coming out, 50 feet from the line coming to the white flag. That's that was depressing. I felt like I was in a good spot, but there at the end, I picked the wrong lane. I mean, I know the top is where I wanted to be the previous run, but then the guy that I thought was going to be lining up behind Cody, I thought we'd have a shot on the bottom, and I was like, I'd prefer protect, because I was by myself. So I was like, I'd prefer protect a solid top 5 finish than gamble it on getting hung out or wrecked coming to the line on the top. And didn't pay dividends tonight, but I really can't be that mad about second place. I mean, I have had some atrocious luck in the past, and it's finally coming back around my way. So happy to be cashing in on some good luck for once.
You've definitely been up front most of the past 2 weeks. You've had a string of second place finishes here throughout the week. Anyone to thank or shout out? Yeah,
absolutely. Got to give a huge shout out to MCU Body, Lennox, all the Ryko guys, and shout out to my dad there running up front with him. Also, shout out to Cody there. It's been him and I in a lot of these races. Him, Matt. It's been nice to be able to mix it up and run up front with those guys. It's it's definitely nice to be surviving and duking it out at the end. So thank you guys for broadcasting. Hopefully I'll be talking to you more.
Yeah, absolutely. We look forward to talking to you next week. I'm sure you'll be back up front at some point in the race. We'll get another word with you. Thanks for talking to us, Garrett.
Yes, sir.
And now that is going to lead us to your winner here tonight, Cody Nagels. Cody, you got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Well, it was the first time in a while that we have done no fast repairs. First thing I got to ask is, what were you thinking when you saw that caution about 100 yards before taking the white flag?
Considering I was running fairly low on fuel, no, I had the middle and I was leading and I had teammates behind me. I did not want that caution to come out, so I felt like I had to re-earn the victory 2 additional times. But the no fast repair thing, I hope it stays a little bit more. Like, I hope we see it or other like teams choose it, because that's right down my alley. Then it kind of, I feel like the squirrels got to dial their crap back down, and the guys that are a little bit more used to being up front, I don't think they change the way they run, really. I just think the people that need to be dialed down just get dialed down a little bit. So it makes for a better overall product, I think, when you have cleaner racing.
Well, you won a championship at a super speedway last night. You win a ton of money here tonight. Is this some sort of momentum streak that we're going to see get going? And if so, how long is this going to roll?
Oh, shoot. It's like a dream that I haven't woke up from. Like, I just don't even want to pinch myself. I've been on a very good run, and I don't want to take any of it for granted, because it's just, wins like this don't come very often, and when they start coming in bunches, and it's like, it's tough to really comprehend, and I probably will never be able to just completely, fully comprehend it. So I'm just going to defer and say that I have the best teammates out here. And I think that showed tonight. I'm putting myself in position, but if I don't have teammates to support that, then I'm not winning the race.
Well, NBG strength in number and individuals certainly showed here tonight. Before we let you head out, is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I want to thank Mike T for putting on such a fantastic money racing league with PGR. I want to thank you and Baker for everything you do for the league and for broadcasting. I want to thank NBG as a whole for having a fantastic night. I feel like from night to night, we've been kind of in a lull right now. So this was a much, much needed victory for NBG and kind of get us back on the right track. And I want to thank my friends and family that tuned in tonight for supporting me.
All right. Well, congratulations on the win and the big money here tonight. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
All right. And that is going to wrap up our coverage here tonight from Talladega Superspeedway. Good racing with the no fast fare, and you heard your winner say he liked it, Baker. Do you think we could expect to see more of the same?
I think, Garrett hit it on the head. Those two have been up front for the better part of the past 2 weeks, and they're proving it, winning these big money races, finishing 1-2. Not so much running together, but really working well together to get to these finishes and not relinquishing the lead once they get it.
Indeed. Well, that will complete our coverage for tonight. Thank you all so much for coming out. We'll be back again next Thursday. Next place we head on Ghost Racing Network Saturday night for the NOMA Truck Series, continuing the playoffs. Make sure you don't miss out. Till then, have a good night.